All right, so let's start with revision. And do I need to read the shloka, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, it will be nice.
Yeah.
But before we do that, maybe you can chant Mangala Charan, at least a part of it. All of us, we can chant together.
Okay.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dati Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajam
Devam
Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
Bandhu Jagatpate
Gopesha
Gopinath Kanta Namaste
Tapta Kanchana Gauranga Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Patitanam
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha
Jai Shri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya Prabhu
Chaitanya Prabhu
Nityananda Shri Advaita
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna,
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So, Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So, we'll start with the verse first. Atyahara prayashascha
Atyahara prayasascha
prajalpo niyamagraha
Prajalpo niyamagraha
janasangascha lolyamcha
Janasangascha lolyamcha
Shadbir bhaktir vinashyati.
Sadbhir
Bhakti Vinashati.
All right. So we'll start with, we'll go back to verse 1, where verse 1 was talking about controlling 6 urges. To understand the verse 2, there's a quote called simple living and high thinking that Prabhuji you've given us. So what are the things we should not do that are nishedh? So everything which is going to help us to, remember Krishna all the time, that is vidhi. And what is taking away us from Krishna or forgetting about Krishna will be nishedh or don'ts, basically. So do's and don'ts. So these, in verse 2, we are going to talk about 6 don'ts which we should not do if we want to be sincerely progress in Krishna consciousness. So Krishna has 3 like energies: internal energy, external energy, and marginal energy. Marginal, we are jiva is the tathastha, marginal energy, and bahiranga energy, which is external energy. So what simple living does? Simple living keeps us away from material effect of material energy or bahiranga shakti. And high thinking gives us close proximity to antaranga shakti or spiritual energy or internal potency of Krishna. Verses 7.14 and 9.13 basically talks about, teaches us how to be a Mahatma and not to be a Duratma. And 9.13 is the only shloka which is talking about internal potency of Krishna, which is obviously Radharani. So the first and foremost thing is Atyahara. Atyahara, we can divide it into 2 words, Ati and Ahara. So excess eating or food for not only eating, but food for our senses in general, we say. So normally what people do, they listen to mundane music and they watch movies and listen to the music from Bollywood or any other wood. But devotees, they have higher taste. They also listen to music, but they listen to kirtan. They eat prasadam. So they are also satisfying their senses, but they have higher taste. Why higher taste? Because it is leading us to the ultimate goal of our life, to Krishna prema, and that's why it's higher. So Atyahara also means accumulating things. So unnecessary, accumulating money or trying to accumulate different things, and we, especially when we don't know how to dovetail them to Krishna consciousness, or to, help ourselves to progress spiritually. So it's not a bad thing, accumulating money. Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, they all had a lot of money, and they knew how to, use it. In fact, Prabhupada himself, he said that, bring me all the money of the world and I know how to handle it. But in general, general mass, it's very difficult for them to handle money. So it's better not to over accumulate, or not to, over endure for those things. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they had boat full of gold coins. So, but how they used it, he actually created Gupta Vrindavan in Ramkeli. So he was serving all the, he was using all the money to serve Krishna. This portion, Prabhupada divided into basically religion, philosophy, and welfare work. So religion is basically, one should not, try to acquire money on the basis of religion. Religion is only and only for us to, elevate ourselves to the spiritual level, Apavarga. And people usually, when they feel emptiness in their heart and mind, they try to read a lot of books, and it's called in Anuvriti, a commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He said that it's not actually, it's on the basis of mundane speculation. So, and Prabhupada also not supported this, reading a lot of books outside Krishna consciousness, because it can drag us to different areas, and material on the material side, and B, it can give us a lot of false ego also. And then there was example Prabhuji used, two examples were there. If I think I don't have that much time to elaborate on every example, but so I will only just mention about the examples. So one example was rice bag, where if you leave the rice bag outside of your house, basically birds will only take few grains, and if humans will come, they will take the whole bag away. So that just shows how much accumulation humans like to do. And then there was another example, $100 notes lying on the road, and one who is smart and intelligent enough, they'll try to give it back to the owner, which is basically Krishna. All Lakshmi, all the money and all the wealth in this world belongs to Krishna, rather than using it for personal use, or just leaving it there, being trying to be an honest person. So that was Atyahara. Then in Prayas's segment, Prabhuji, you explained that for devotees especially, it's very important to maintain between spiritual life and material life. That's the biggest struggle for devotees, or rather practicing devotees, I would say. So again, working over hours, and working, Prabhupada mentioned in one of his lectures that we should work 6 to 8 hours of work is sufficient. So one should not try to work more than that. And you quoted Devakinandan Prabhu also in that, our source of income is not our source of maintenance, which means actually Krishna is maintaining us. Jagannath and Radharani, they are already given us so much. And Prabhupada said that anyone and anywhere in this world can live happily life if they have a piece of land and a milking cow. So basically that kind of philosophy Prabhupada is teaching us. So we don't need to do over endeavor to get more things, and putting over efforts basically, and wasting our times here and there. And there was this term SAP, so Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. So most of the time of our day should be invested in these activities, and also any kind of other devotional activities, as this life is we have very limited time in this life. So we should utilize our life as beautifully as possible and gracefully. The third segment was Prajalpa. So Jalpa means talking, and Prajalpa means unnecessary talking. When people talk about mundane things, there was analogy of toad and snake. So toad, they make sounds, and they attract snake to eat them. And snake is a metaphor for time, kala. So unnecessary talking about mundane on the mundane topics and trying to find faults, which again is aprad. So it leads to us nowhere. And then examples for Prajalpa was Shunya Vidyadhar. That was a donkey. Actually, he died and everybody was talking about him. And then they wasted a lot of time on it. And then another example was Keshav Kashmiri, who was trying to show off his knowledge. He recited hundreds of verses on Ganga Devi and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he picked few, on the 64th verse, there were 4 mistakes out of a statement. He said, just to show Keshav Kashmiri that there is no need to, show off even if you have, good talking abilities, you don't need to show off. Another example, Prabhuji, you have used was Socrates. So Socrates used these 3 parameters for any kind of talking or news, basically. So if it is a true fact, if it's a fact, if it's truth. The other thing is if it is good, and if it is useful or beneficial. So then only you tell me any news. That was Socrates' concept. Niyamagraha is basically, so Niyamagraha is agraha. If it is agraha, it is rejecting rules, and if it is agraha, so with the bada a, then it accepts rules without understanding. Both are not good. We should know what we are doing and why we are doing. So and basically following all the rules and regulations are important, but we should know what we are doing. So examples for Niyamagraha was Bharat Maharaj, how he was so emotionally attached with deer in the forest, and he forget to perform all his basically like the basic duties. And then like Nal Gubera and Manigriva, how they were behaving inappropriately, although they were devatas, and they were not like, it was not, that kind of behavior was not expected from them, and that's why they was cursed by Muni. And then another story was Brahmana and Cobbler. So Cobbler had that firm belief in Krishna, and that's why he was more eligible to go back to Krishna rather than Brahmana, who was just performing his duties for the sake of performing it. And Brahmana wives who knew the position of Krishna and Balrama and served them. And Brahmana themselves, they were just, engaged in all the yagyas and ritualistic things rather than, feeding Krishna. And then another example was for Bhishma Pitama. So he is the positive example and negative example both. Negative, where he didn't do anything when Draupadi Devi was disrobed in front of him, and he said, I had my vow and I can't do anything. I don't know what to do. But in Kurukshetra, when he was lying on the bed of arrows, he was, he was blinking his eyes to give respect to all the sages and Mahajans who were coming to meet him at that time, during that time. So that is a positive example, how he was supposed to follow the niyam, and he was trying to perform his duty even in that difficult situation. So another don't is Jana Sangha. So we should not try to, Jana is people and Sangha is association, basically. So we should avoid trying to, get association with worldly people, worldly minded people who are completely engrossed in material world and don't want to listen about Krishna, basically. So example for this was Ajamil, how he just saw somebody and his whole life changed, although he had so many good and positive qualities in him, but still he fell down. Why we are protected, there was this lecture where Prabhuji was mentioning where that we are protected because of Mahaprabhu's mercy in this Kali Yuga, in this time where everywhere is distraction and so many things are there, but still we are protected because of Mahaprabhu's mercy. And another example for Jan Sangha is Manthara. So Manthara was just few minutes with Manthara changed the KK's whole personality. She used to love Krishna, really, really love Krishna, and then he just because of few sentences heard by Manthara, KK, her personality completely changed. Another example was Bilba Mangal Thakur, who was in love with the prostitute, and he was all the time thinking about her, and yeah, it's a long story short. So at the end of the day, like, he realized that he should take Krishna's name. And one more example was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's example, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to live in Jagannath Puri for 4 months, and then people from Kulin Gram. So they used to come and ask him, oh, who is Vaishnava, who is Vaishnava? They came for 3 consecutive years continuously, and then they used to ask, who is Vaishnava, who is Vaishnava? And then he answered them, Asat Sangatyag Ei Vaishnavachar. So one should not stay in the association of people who are asat. So asat sangatyag. Asat can be in it has a very deep meaning, which is not truthful, or which people who are not true to Krishna. So things like that. So that was Mahaprabhu's teaching. And then last part was lolyam. So lolyam is greed. And in this section, we heard from Prabhuji that Maybe Govind Maharaj, he was talking about a housefly, that you should not only conjuice, you should be makhi juice. So you should be makhi juice for doing all the devotional service for Krishna, to get Krishna prema, to have that association, try to get more and more association, try to listen more kirtan and do more devotional services. Prabhupada quoted on this, and he's in the purport, he said that desires to expand the mind by perfecting mystic yoga or merging in the existence of Brahman or attaining whimsical material prosperity. All these attempts for so-called spiritual advancements are actually impediments on the path of Krishna consciousness. And this was the mapping Prabhuji has showed us, that how Vacho actually affects our Vani, and then it can convert into, over talking Prajalpa. And Manasa, when we have desire, then it can become the over endeavor usually. So all the Vegas, how they are converting from Vegas to the actual problems. Jiva, if we don't control it, then it becomes lolyam, the greed, and unsteadiness in passion. Udro, belly, when we don't control it, then it's become atyahara, overeating, and upasthi, when we don't control it, we can fall down very easily in jansangas. So yeah, basically in one of the lectures of Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj, he said that forget about all the rules and regulations. There is one rule, that always remember Krishna, and the second rule is never forget Krishna. So this is the one do and one don't. So in order to achieve this, whatever is required is like, if you are not if you're forgetting Krishna, so whatever you are doing is like nishedh. Sorry, so it's so in order to achieve Krishna prema, do whatever is supporting you, and that is vidhi. And whatever you are doing, if it is taking you away from Krishna, that is nishedh. So both are very important, because it is just like you are trying to cook something. So once you will put the gas on and the hungry person is waiting for you, you'll put the gas on, and then you put some water on the fire, it will be switched off, right? So then there is no outcome out of it. You won't be able to cook, and then person will be waiting for you forever. So basically we should know what we we should do to get Krishna prema, and we should also know what we should not do to what is going to ruin our bhakti lata basically. So both are very important. Both we should do. Just like when we get treatment from a doctor, we not only eat medicine, but we also think about what he asks us not to do basically, or if there is a diet to follow, if there is a routine to follow, we should also do that. Just if I'm eating medicine, but at the same time I am eating ice cream also, it's not going to help me, I'm not going to get better. So both are very important. So that was the whole idea. I hope I covered everything, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. It was very nice. One quick question, and maybe someone else can respond. What's the difference between Atyahara and Lolyam? We discussed about it. It's good to know that.
Prabhuji, I think you mentioned that Lolyam comes in the beginning of spiritual life, whereas Atyahara comes later.
Yeah.
And then Atyahara then ultimately will lead to Prayas. So Lolyam, Atyahar, Prayas.
Yes. So Lolyam can be very explicit, like I want to eat more gulab jamuns or more pizza, because neophyte devotee, they come in and they just enjoy prasadam, or maybe other things like that. But Atyahara can refer to me. I am being devotee for 15 years and they are not paying their pranams to me. They're not respecting me properly. So I have this a subtle tendency of gaining something. So this subtleness actually is very, very dangerous. When Maharaj was saying, if we expect some sort of respect from others, this is a form of a subtle sex desire, he was saying. So there's a gross desire and there's a subtle desire. So subtle desire can be fulfilled in terms of like everyone respecting me because I'm important. So we move from, from outside to inside. That should be in a positive way. Outside to inside, like when we're following rules and regulations, slowly they should change our heart and we should start loving Krishna. But sometimes it can be other way as well, even within the realm of bhakti. Thank you, Shraddha Mataji. It was very nice. You very nicely covered all the 6 points. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, there's one more question for you, Shraddha Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhu, it's not a question.
Okay.
Actually, in Radhesham Prabhu's lecture, he was mentioning the senior devotee means it's not seeing years. Like it's, they have not seen the years. That is not the meaning of senior devotees.
Yeah.
It is the way how you actually eager to hear Krishna Katha. That is the thing where you have been mentioned as seniors, not seen years.
It's very nice definition, not seen years. And many times we see years and then we feel like we are very important. Nice definition. Thank you. Before we get to verse 3, just quickly, this is again the same picture. It's not a new picture, but it's good to know NOI in our head before we get inside each verse. So again, NOI can be divided into 3 parts. One is the Vaidhi Bhakti, one is Raganuga Bhakti, one is the Bhava and Prema Bhakti, which is from NOD, which we'll read after this NOI. So Vaidhi Bhakti, we have 7 verses. So one which we are reading right now is relating with Shraddha, controlling your senses. So this is what we have done 2 verses. Today we'll do verse 3, which is principle that 8 devotional service. 4 to 6 will be relating with the Sadhu Sangha theme. And then 7th verse will relate to Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, and Ruchi. Okay. So let's get inside. So we are in Vaidhi Bhakti. Within Vaidhi Bhakti, we are in Shraddha, controlling our senses. We are in verse 3. So this is where we are in this picture. Okay, I'll quickly read this verse. Very beautiful verse. Prabhupada quoted this verse. One of the most quoted verses of Prabhupada is NOI verse 3. So you can understand how important this verse is. Prabhupada quoted this verse a lot in a lot of lectures, conversations, in his books, in his writings as well. Ussaha nishayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritteha sadbhir bhaktir prasiddhyati. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non-devotees, Following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So we'll do word by word translation and then we'll get inside the verse. So this is just word by word. So Utsahan, everyone knows this word Utsaha. I think in Hindi also we have similar words. In Tamil also we may have the same words because it's coming from Sanskrit. So Utsaha means enthusiasm. So everyone knows that. Nishchay. Nishchay means this Hindi word as well. Nishchay means certainly. Prabhupada writes confidence. So here Nishchay will be confidence. We'll read about it. Dhairyat, we have Dhira Prabhu here. Dhira Prashant, Dhira, Dhairya. We read in Bhagavad Gita as well. That means patience. Tat karma. Tat karma. Very simplistically, if you translate, that karma, that activity. Tat karma, that activity. What activity which we are referring obviously is devotional activity. Pravartanat means by performing. So you perform those activity which increases your devotional attitude to Krishna. Fifth one is Sangha Tyagat. I think we're referring this Sangha Tyaga in verse 2 as well. We'll read the common themes between 2 and 3. This is one of the linkage between 1 and 2. Sangha Tyaga. This is being mentioned actually in 1, 2, and 3 all. How important that one is getting repeated. There's only one vritti is getting repeated again and again. This is Sangha Tyaga. So giving up association of. Now here Sangha refers to association. Tyag means to give up. But which Sangha to give up? Not devotee Sangha. Sometimes we get upset with the devotee and we said, yes, Sangha Tyagat. I'm not going to go to my Bhagavatam classes or Bhakti Raksha classes and like that. No, Sangha here refers to worldly minded people, as Shraddha Mataji was saying earlier, or the people who are not interested in developing. And I mentioned last class, seriously. They may be devotees or they're serious devotees. So we should try to associate with them. Sangha Tyagat by giving up association, and Sato Vritte. Sato refers to, anyone knows the meaning of Sata? Shraddha Mataji mentioned one meaning. Sata means truthful, yes. And what other meaning of Sata? We use this Vaishnav Sat Sangha, Sato Vritte.
If we pious or people who are devoted completely to Krishna.
Okay, yes, that's very good. Anyone else?
Favorable to Krishna consciousness.
So that's a similar, yep. More. Sat, Chit, Ananda. What does Sat means? Permanent. One who is after permanent, not Asat. Asat means impermanent. Now, who is permanent? Krishna is permanent. His devotees are permanent. His bhakti is permanent. So you can start remembering from that. Sata means what is permanent. And usually people are after Asat. All these cars, houses, look, dress, fame, whatever. They're all asat. Nothing will last here. I think one devotee was saying, I'll say in Hindi first, जिंदगी को ज्यादा सीरियस लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. यहाँ से जिंदा बचकर कोई नहीं जाता है. Don't take this life too seriously. No one will be escaped life from here. Everyone will be, sorry to say, dead at the end. Obviously talking about the body here. So we are after, within this temporary body, after Sat. That's why we say Krishna, one of the name of Krishna is Sat, because he's Satya. He's permanent truth. He's not related to, he's absolute truth. So Krishna's name is Sat. And whatever relates with Krishna, like bhakti of Krishna, that's also Sat. Whatever bhakti you do, that is a permanent asset you have. Everything else is impermanent. I think Shubham Prabhu is in insurance industry, if I'm not wrong. They give insurances, you buy some premium car insurance, house premium. But no one can assure that your house will be saved even in the floods or fire. No one can ensure that. They charge you premium for the life insurance, but the premium is paid for your family. Once you leave, you don't get anything. And that's why devotees called Krishna consciousness after life insurance. Actually, I say it's this life insurance plus afterlife insurance, isn't it? This life, every day. I was talking to Sundar Gopal Prabhu earlier. Every day is a festival day. Krishna consciousness, every day is festival, is just prasadam, nice kirtans, lecture. We are looking at the July calendar, it's so full, overfull actually. It's so nice. So what afterlife? Yes, afterlife also, this life also. That is Sata. So Sata word is very important. We can have a whole class on the word Sata. Vritti. Vritti word, everyone knows that Vritti word from Bhagavad Gita as well. Natural inclination. So Sata here refers to great previous Acharya. Sata also refers to devotees of the Lord. It comes in Srimad Bhagavatam as well. So Sata is Lord, his devotees, his bhakti, vritti, following the footsteps of those devotees who have performed great bhajan for Krishna. Shadbir refers to 6. Bhakti refers to bhakti, devotion, service. Prasiddhyati. In verse 2, what was the word? Opposite word? Atyahara. We just repeated that.
Vinashyati.
Vinashyati. Vinashyati means vinash, destruction. And here is prasiddhyati. Prasiddhyati means burna, to increase. So these 6 things will increase your devotion, and vinashyati, those 6 things will destroy your devotion. Okay, I'll just read few points from here. Very nice from Hanumat Preshak Maharaj, who is a very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So he says, text 3, Prabhupada most often quotes in his books and lectures. Verse 2 discuss 6 things that will surely prevent us from engaging the senses in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesha. Now, verse 3 will discuss 6 things which will make it very easy. Paragraph 1 to 4. So, this is a very long purport which Prabhupada has written, very beautiful purport. So, 1 to 4, Prabhupada sort of gives an introduction to the verse. We'll read the introduction of Prabhupada. 5 to 11, he explains 6 favorable things, and the rest from paragraph 12 onwards, we see Prabhupada summarizing all 6 and starting the Anuvritti commentary, which is the Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj commentary on NOI. So Prabhupada is putting the words of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj in his own words in his commentaries very nicely. So he gives like both perspective, which is very nice. Okay, so yes, before I start, Shraddha Mataji also had covered this. If you don't control the Vegas, destructive elements, I'll just map it with the 3rd verse as well. So if you don't control your Vega, you will end up in verse 2. But if you control your Vegas, you will end up in verse 3. So destructive elements versus favorable elements. So how does verse 1, 2, and 3 relate? So you can take a picture of this one if you like. So I've written in the blue in the middle all the 6 urges which we are supposed to control. If you go on the left-hand side, my left-hand side, verse 2, if you don't control the Vegas, you end up in verse 2. If you control the Vegas, you go on the right-hand side, which is the green side. I'll just quickly read. If you control your Vacha, your Vani, what happens if you don't control? What happens? Prajalpa, which we covered in the verse 2 discussion as well. But if you control it, it brings dhairya in your personality. If you're able to control your Vacha, then it brings dhairya, gravity. Like Prabhupada's one quality was, he was very grave. Grave does not mean a serious person. Prabhupada was also very jovial at times, and he was serious at times. He was very grave. Grave means one who does not move from his position. Prabhupada. And that's one of the definition of word guru. Guru means not giving one philosophy today, giving another philosophy tomorrow. In Hindi, there's a saying, Ganga gaye to Ganga Das, Jamuna gaye to Jamuna Das. So whoever is your boss, you just praise him, because you want to become favorite of your boss. But Prabhupada or Acharyas are not like that. Even if displeases others, Prabhupada will reject it, because he's always the pure devotee of Krishna. Okay, Manasaha. If you don't control your manas, your desire, your inner desires, it will lead to over, because I want to have this, I want to have this, I want that. Those constant desires will be burning in your head, and you want to achieve all those of them, and it will never end. But if you control it, it brings nishchay. Yes, I can do it. I can do it. Because I don't have to follow the whatever my mind says. I follow what my super soul says, what my guru says, sadhu shastra and guru, whatever these 3 guys says, I follow it. I don't have to follow my mind unless my mind is taking me to the right things, which a purified mind eventually will take you. At this stage, mind is not purified, but when the mind is purified, the mind can become your best friend to take you back to Godhead, as Bhagavad Gita says. Anger, if you don't control, you reject rules and regulations. Say, oh, what is this rules and regulations? I don't care. But if you can control your anger, tat karma pravartanat, you will follow the rules which will be favorable for your seva. If you can control your jihva, your tongue, which we spoke as it works the karmendriya as well as jnanendriya. If you don't control it, you become very passionate and you fall into lolya. Mujhe chahiye, I need it, I need it, I need it. Huh? And that can be some positions or ahar of, as Mataji was saying, ati ahar. Huh? It can be different types of ahar for different types of senses. But if you can control your jiva, sato vritti, you can follow your guru, spiritual master, or senior acharyas very nicely, very patiently, you can follow them. Not following your udar vega will lead up to atyahar. If you can control your udar vega, it will lead to utsaha. We'll talk about this word. It's a very nice word, utsaha. Prabhupada has given the biggest commentary in his big purport for word utsaha, the very first word. And the last one, upasti. If you don't control, you come into bad association. But if you can control, you are able to quit bad association very easily. So sometimes many people are following bhakti, but they're not able to quit the bad association. And the problem may be upasti vega. Okay. So this is just a sort of relationship between 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's start the purport. Now, first 4 paragraphs, as Maharaj is saying, Prabhupada spends on introducing the verse. So Prabhupada does not start the commentary on those 6 elements straight away. He introduces the verse. So he's saying these 6 elements will, what is the last line of the verse? Anyone can say? Of the verse 3, what's the last line?
Shadbir Bhakti Pranash
Prasiddhyati.
Prasiddhyati.
Yeah, pranashyati will be different. That's fine. Prasiddhyati. So what we have to proceed, what we have to increase? Bhakti. So Prabhupada saying bhakti will increase by that. But first let me define what is bhakti, isn't it? You want to increase your bank balance, but first you have to understand what does bank balance mean. And before Prabhupada describes what is bhakti, Prabhupada describes what is not bhakti, because many times we have misconception, especially coming from Indian background. Say, I know everything. You're selling Bhagavad Gita to me? I already have Bhagavad Gita. Huh? Krishna तो मेरे घर पे already है. Huh? शुरू से है. Huh? All those things we say. Chanting 24 hours, Prabhuji, 24 hours. मैं तो 24 घंटा माला करते ही रहता हूँ या करती ही रहती हूँ. And Chaitanya Prabhu gives a very sweet response. That, okay, Prabhuji, you're doing 24 hours chanting. Can you exclusively chant for 2 hours? 24 you are chanting, that's very nice. Huh? Implicitly, what you are saying, exclusively, you can chant for 2 hours. Okay, forget 2 hours, just 2 rounds. Just sit and chant 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Very difficult, very, very difficult. So Prabhupada defines very first what is not bhakti. I'm reading Prabhupada's line. Devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Sentimental speculation. That means I dreamt of Krishna last night, do you know? And I tell the whole world, I saw Krishna in my dream. I saw Prabhupada in my dream. Once someone went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I saw Krishna in my dream. And Prabhupada said, that's all right. But what are you doing right now for Krishna? Huh? That's more important. What you saw in dream is not as important as what you're doing right now for Krishna. Huh? Otherwise, anyone can say, whatever I saw. I think everyone knows that joke. Gauranga Prabhu tells this joke. I'm sure Shivam Prabhu will know more than anyone else. There's three friends. I just remembered. I'll just say very quickly. 3 friends, and they cooked some sweet rice, some kheer. The kheer was very little. And because the kheer was very little and everyone was desiring to have that bowl of kheer for himself. And they said, oh, itna sahi bana hai. There's only little kheer. So they said, okay, and kheer is very hot. We'll eat next morning. So who will eat the kheer next morning? Whoever get the best dream, they will eat the kheer next morning. So they all thought inside they will cheat each other. So in the morning time, the guy one got it and he said, I got the best dream. Now, without even hearing, he said, I'm the best. What was the best? I went to Brahmaloka. I was talking to Brahmaji. And second said, only Brahmaloka. I went to Shivloka. I went to Shivloka. I was talking to Shivji. Acha. And third was putting his head down. And he's saying, the other 2 say, so you didn't get any dream? He said, no, I got dream. So who came in your dream? Hanumanji came. Acha. And Hanumanji was holding his fist on my nose. And he said, Kha kheer nahi to marunga. eat the kheer, otherwise I'll hit you. Now, who wants to get hit by Hanumanji? So he said, I was forced. And the other two boys were very depressed. And they said, maybe he's just telling his dream, but he hasn't acted on it as yet, right? It was in the dream. They ran to the kitchen and they saw the bowl was fully empty. He said, Are, bulaya bhi nahi humko. You didn't even invite us. He said, No, I came to invite you, but you were busy talking to Brahmaji. You were busy talking to Shivji. So what could I do? I had to just consume all the kheer myself. Huh? So many times we have this sentimental attitude. Prabhupada called this as Mayavad. Sentimentalism. Without any solid philosophy. So sentimental speculation means Mayavad, we just thinking, oh, Krishna will be like that, Krishna will be like that. Bhakti, I should do like that, I should do like that. No, Bhakti should be done as per the rules and regulation given by our acharyas. That's how we should do Bhakti. The second thing Prabhupada said, it's not imaginative ecstasy. What is imaginative ecstasy? Prabhupada said is Sahajiya mentality. Everyone knows Sahajiya mentality, when you prematurely act on some devotional platform where you are not mentally ready for. Some of the Prabhupada disciples in the beginning days, and I can say even today as well, sometimes, they meet with different Babajis when they go to Vrindavan. And some of the Prabhupada disciples, they went and saw this Babaji, and he was saying, I can give you your Siddha Pranali. Siddha Pranali means I can tell you what your Swarupa is in the spiritual realm. So one of the examples which I heard in a class, some devotees heard a sound of Mayur, a peacock coming from a room, and they thought, oh, is a peacock in the room? And they went close to the room, and the peacock sound was coming, and then they opened the room. This guy inside the room was quacking like a peacock. And the other devotees asked, why are you doing that? And he said, I went to this Babaji, and Babaji told me, I am a Mayur in the Krishna Leela. And Prabhupada was very upset with all those things. Some devotees, some people, I should rather say, wear sari, the male wear sari, and they say, I'm a gopi and all that. This is all Sahajiya mentality. This is not how we get to know our Siddha Pranali. Siddha Pranali is a process where a spiritual master will reveal your Swarupa when you are ready. You're not prematurely going to practice like a gopi or a mayur or a bird or a sakha like that. Our process is very, very simple. At the moment, we are just following as per the guidelines given by Prabhupada or different acharyas. So devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. One lady came to Melbourne Temple at Prabhupada time, and she was rolling on the ground, and the tears were coming from her eyes, and devotees thought she's a very great devotee, and they wrote letter to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, kick her. If she does not come out of her ecstasy, she is a real devotee. If she comes out of her ecstasy, she's a fake. So devotees ran towards her with a big stick, and when she saw the big stick, she ran out of the room. So many times, if not all the times, all fake. You remember Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj in Abhay Charan movie we see. He was not into coming out in the world. He was always hiding. And it says one time he was chanting his rounds, whole day he's doing his bhajan in the bathroom. And many devotees will come and try to disturb him. So he thought the best way is I go inside a place which is very filthy. Haridas Thakur was doing his bhajan in a cave with snakes. Now we can't do all that. But the point is the acharyas were disturbed when people will come. Many times we see Lord Shiva comes and give blessings to even asuras. Why does he do that? One answer is he's always engaged in the bhajan, and whoever tries to please him, he comes out, he gives the boon, and he goes back to his bhajan, because devotees don't like to get bothered. They're just busy in pleasing Krishna. So what is not bhakti? Very, very clear. It's not a Sahajiya mentality. It's not a Mayavad mentality. So what is it? Rupa Goswami says in NOD, this is from NOD, from the same author, Anya Vilashta Shunyam Gyan Karmadya Navartam Anukulyani Krishnanushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. So Prabhupada takes this section, the second line, Krishnanushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. So he takes this word, Krishnanushilanam, and he expands on the word Shilanam. What does Shilanam means? Prabhupada writes, it is a cultivation. Cultivation means activity. Shilanam is not a passive activity. It's cultivation. Cultivation means activity, further activity. Prabhupada writes, cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some pseudo-yogis teach. Such idle meditation may be good for those who have no information of devotional service, and for this reason, it is sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting materialistic activities. Meditation means stopping all nonsensical activities, at least for some time being. So Prabhupada is very clear. He's saying nonsensical activities like a minus. Meditation, you can say, it's like a zero. You're not being positive, but if you're performing bhakti, bhajan, sadhana, service to your guru or spiritual master or deities or Krishna, then you are doing positive access. So coming to zero is very important, but it's not everything. It's not the final point. You have to go towards positive. Devotional service, however, not only puts an end to all nonsensical mundane activities, so we don't do any negative activities, at least we are not supposed to, but also engages one in the meaningful devotional activity. Prabhupada always translate the word bhakti into devotional service. So what does devotion represent here? It's an adjective. So devotion is a sentiment which is an internal thing, and service, Prabhupada says, is an external thing. So you perform internal as well as external. Many times in Indian culture, you can say modern Indian culture, it's all about sentiment, and no service. When they talk about themselves, they eat palak paneer. For Krishna, they offer ilaichi dana, white sugar candy, and that also 4 only. I have got 100 grams, it has to last for 3 months or something. So Krishna every day on the altar is eating ilaichi dana or little sugar, just a little sugar. Or even if they offer, they have the smallest bowl or katori in the house, which they offer to Krishna. When first time I came, maybe not the first time I went to the kitchen and I saw the cook, whoever the cook was that time, was offering Krishna in a very big, huge plate with a big bowls, and he was filling up like a mountain, each bowl. I'm like, I never saw like that. And then he said, Krishna, he's Krishna, he needs to eat. And whatever we have, we offer the best, in the best plates, in the best bowls, in the best quantity, in the best presentation. I'm remembering in Vaikuntha Ashram, once I went to Bhakti Rasamrat Maharaj, and our dear Mohit Prabhuji and Mother Divya, somewhere here, they both made very nice prasadam for Bhakti Rasamrat Maharaj, and Maharaj said, "ये देखने के लिए है कि खाने के लिए है?" Is it just for seeing or is for eating? And Mohit Prabhu obviously said, Prabhuji, Maharaj, please खाइए, आपके लिए है. So the presentation was so good. So everything matters. Radhanath Maharaj says, as we advance, we start going in detail. So we take shortcut, that means we are neophyte. We are neophytes. Now again, time, place, and circumstances, but in general, devotees take care of Krishna's flute, Krishna's mukut, Krishna's dress, Krishna's water is covered, Krishna's cup has tulsi, otherwise his cup doesn't have tulsi. They take care of every single detail because you're advancing. You want to take care of your loved ones as best as possible. A mother takes care of her baby very nicely, very nicely. My baby should not get any discomfort, especially when they're very young. So Laddu Gopalji or Gaur Nitai or whatever deities you have, devotees take care of their needs very nicely. Okay, so that is bhakti. Now, Prabhupada gives this nice example of gopis in Vrindavan. Prabhupada says, love means service, and service means commitment. Radhanath Maharaj very clearly says, your commitment to your seva will define how sincere you are. Commitment to your seva. Many times, devotees they take some service and they don't turn up. And I've heard many instances, especially in the kitchen, and I'm looking at Mohit Prabhu and others as well, sometimes they take the lead service of cooking for 800 people or something like that. It's not a joke. People take commitment and they'll turn up. And I've heard the same thing happening in the DT kitchen as well. And not only they don't turn up, they forget to call as well. And when 6:20 is approaching, no one in the kitchen, and Pujari says, Raj, Bhagwan ka bhog ban raha hai ki nahi? They say that Prabhuji, he has not turned up. And in 20 minutes, the Pujari, I've heard this live, they have to prepare something for Gopinath. That's not very nice. If you cannot come for whatever X, Y, and Z reasons, at least ASAP, you should be able to inform your authority that, sorry, I'm not able to make my seva today. So Radhanath Maharaj says very clearly, you're not committed. So it's not just a random service, it's a serious service for Krishna. Prabhupada said Krishna's altar has to open on time, has to close on time, everything should be perfect. One of Mataji disciple of Prabhupada, she was serving hot chapatis to Prabhupada, which Prabhupada really liked. She started serving hot chapatis to deities as well. When Prabhupada came to know, he was angry. Why are you changing? And he said, once Krishna is eating, you should not enter. You should just serve Krishna enough and get out. And there are ways to serve Krishna more. And I'll not talk about it. There's a whole topic in itself. But Prabhupada said, change will ruin everything. Do not change. My Guru Maharaj was saying in one of the classes in Sydney, he's saying, in Tulsi Aarti, sometimes say, Bhaja Radha Krishna Seva Pao Eya Bilasi. He said, where's Bhaj? There's no Bhaj. Author has not written Bhaj. Why are you adding it? Why are you adding it? Instead of Krishna Bhakti Pradevi, say, instead of Vishnu Bhakti, some devotees say Krishna Bhakti Pradevi. That's not the verse. Your sentiments are good, but Shastra is saying Vishnu, chant Vishnu. Don't have to put everywhere Krishna. Even Prahlad Maharaj is using the word Vishnu and Krishna as well. So we should not try to think that we have become such a big authority. I can change, delete, and I can put Krishna. That will be better than Vishnu. No. Shastra says Vishnu. You read it as Vishnu. If there's no Bhaja Radha Krishna, do not sing Radha and Krishna, because the tune becomes better. And you can practice without it as well, and you can still sing very nicely. Radha Krishna Seva Pao. So Shilana means cultivation. Cultivation means service, and service means commitment. So one example which Prabhupada gave in his purport of gopis' commitment towards Krishna. Gopis were so much committed for the service of Krishna. One example which comes to my mind, I think I heard from Purushottam Maharaj, if I'm not wrong. Radharani was once standing on the Govardhan. It was a very, very hot, sunny day. Has anyone done Govardhan Parikrama in a hot sun? I've done it. Just not knowing, not that I was very austere or anything. I just didn't realize how how austere it can be. And once I arrived there and I took my shoes out, it was Ekadashi. And I started my parikrama 12 o'clock in a summer day. Oh my God, it was very difficult. And I was fully confident I can do it. I have done it. Then I realized, that wasn't the best time to start the parikrama. Anyway, coming down to the point, Radharani was standing on this Govardhan Shila. She was doing some plucking flowers or something. Krishna accidentally came there, and Krishna started looking Radharani looking at Krishna. And Radharani's feet on the hot sunny day on a Shila, you can imagine. Sometimes I go to balcony just to put some clothes on, and it's very difficult just for even like 1 minute to put the clothes on, because balcony is just so hot. Radharani is standing. Radharani's feet got blistered, but she did not move from that place. Anyway, Krishna left. Then Radharani came out. She had big blisters in her feet. The gopis asked, why did you not move there? You could have gone to a shady area or some other area. Then you can do some exchanges. She said, if I move from there, Krishna will be displeased. Wow. If I move from that spot, because Krishna was, looking at me, I didn't want to disturb the enjoyment of Krishna, so I did not move. When I heard that, I'm like, okay, that's the way it is. Huh? When Prabhupada was 70-year-old, he left India. He could have sat in Vrindavan very nicely and dream about Radha and Krishna and still write the books and do so many other services. At 70, he's leaving India with practically 0 rupees, with practically no contacts. And he goes out for the world tour. And Srimati Maharaj was saying, in Hindi, she said, "Are budhe tu mar jayega." She said out of love, obviously, because she was concerned about Prabhupada. She said, there's so cold, Swamiji, there, you will die. She said that. Prabhupada said, I don't care. I want to die in America. And she thought he's completely gone out of his mind, He said, I want to die in America. But why he wanted to die in America? America is not something, is a very worthy place. Prabhupada said, this is a hell. Later on, he said that. But he wanted to die in America because he wanted to die fighting against Maya by following the instruction of his Guru Maharaj and show, yes, I'm dying in the battlefield. Bhakti Vinod Thakur also says, I want to die in the battlefield. I want to die in Kurukshetra, not in Mayapur and Vrindavan. Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj, he left his body in Gita Nagari. Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, Nasik. They could have gone to Vrindavan, they could have gone to Mayapur easily. But it's not wrong again, you go to Mayapur and leave your body. Not wrong. But I'm saying devotees are very elevated. So these gopis have not even the tiniest desire for swasukh, for their own enjoyment. They have full desire, full surrender for Krishna's pleasure. And for Krishna's pleasure, they can do anything. One example which we read, everyone knows that. When Krishna had a headache, everyone knows that story. When Krishna had a headache, Narad Muni going around in the whole 3 worlds and trying to find one person. He went to Shivji. Shivji is a great devotee. Krishna says in 9th canto, 4th chapter, he is my Swarupa. But when Narad Muni went to his Swarupa, his own Swarupa, Shivji, can you give me the dust of your lotus feet so Krishna's headache can be removed? He said, how can I do that? How can I do that? Brahmaji, Shivji, they are really exalted devotees, exalted devotees. But they're not giving their dust of the lotus feet because they think, I will go to hell. The result will be, the Krishna will be pleased, that's fine, but I will go to hell. Eventually, long story short, Narad Muni goes to gopis. And when gopis said, oh, Krishna has headache, so what can we do? If some pure devotees give the dust of their lotus feet, and then when you apply that dust on the Krishna's head, then Krishna's headache can go, at least for a moment. And these gopis started scratching their feet like anything. They said, Orlo, take more. And Narad Muni said, are you sure? You don't know what you're doing. And Narad Muni said, oh, you're simple village girls, you don't know what you're doing. And they said, no, let me tell you for your protection. If you give your lotus dust, your dust to Krishna, you'll go to hell. And Gopi said, we know that. Like, you don't have to tell me that. We know that. We know that. In Gopi Geet, we see gopis are not unaware of the supremacy of Krishna. They are saying, you're the supreme personality, you are Vishnu. On Brahma's prayer, you have appeared. So gopis are not ignorant. They're not simple village girls. They are the highest devotees based on knowledge as well. And they said, we know that. Just if our going to hell for eternity can remove the headache of Krishna, even for a moment, we are happy to go to hell and live there for eternity. That's the Gopi statement. That is called love. That is called love. Guru Maharaj gives a very simple example. Mother may say to the baby, baby, I love you, baby, I love you. Or a husband can say to wife, or wife can say to husband, I love you, love you, love you. But I don't do any service to my baby, to my husband or wife or parents. What sort of love is that? So gopis are practically devotees. One more example, very sort of modern sort of example. There's a King Solomon. Many of you would have heard in your childhood. King Solomon was a very great king. He was considered very wise. He will take very nice judgments. So people will come to him expecting the right judgment. One time, a very weird case came in front of him of two Matajis came, two ladies came with one baby, and both were claiming that this baby is mine. And they both were like arguing and trying to prove their own point. And king, the minister, they were all confused. So finally, King Solomon said, okay, you both claiming the baby is yours. They both said, yes. He said, okay, cut the baby in half. You keep one half, you keep one half. Simple. Case solved. And you can see one of the ministers just took the sword out, is going to cut the baby. And one lady said, stop. It's a matter of cutting the baby. Let the other lady keep the baby. And other lady did not say anything that time. And King Solomon said, okay, she's the real mother. She is the real mother. She doesn't want to cut the baby. Rather, baby be alive and mother can be separated with the baby. That is love. So this is what the definition of love is. So we should not do this again, speculative imagination that I love Krishna. No, what are you doing? Prabhupada said in one of the class, when you go in front of Radha Gopinath, you should feel Radha Gopinath is asking, what are you doing for me? What are you doing for me? We usually ask other way. Radha Gopinath, itne problems chal raha hai, kuch karte kyun nahi aap? Why are you not doing anything? Krishna, I'm going through so many sufferings in my life. No, Krishna already knows, and he will solve it when there's the right time, in the right way. Krishna knows what to do, when to do. But what are we doing? That's the question. And it's a very great thing, actually, very, very great thing. When I heard this first time, I was like, wow, it's really amazing. This completely changes our mindset. How should we look at our relation with Krishna? Okay. Prabhupada also gives example of Prahlad Maharaj, how Prahlad Maharaj explains bhakti. So Prabhupada said, when Prahlad was asked, what did he respond? Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Mandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. So we know all this. So there are 9 ways, Navvidha Bhakti we call it. Obviously, each term relates to Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why I've highlighted them. So all 9 activities, Prabhupada said, except the first one, which is Shravanam, are activity. They're not just they're actual activity. They're not like passive. Passive means Shravanam is passive, like you're just sitting and hearing, which is still a bhakti, but it's passive. Everything else, you have to do something about it. When you're doing kirtan, like right now, I'm speaking about Krishna. That's a kirtan, that's an activity, isn't it? When you're doing Pada Sevanam, you're going to Dham, for example, you're serving the deities, that's Pada Sevanam. There's some activity involved. Sakyam, Arjuna is doing something. Dasyam, Hanumanji is doing something. Archanam, you're doing Archanam. So they're all activity based, except the first one, which is Shravanam. And why it's passive? Because that's where you start. So you start Shravanam, hearing from. And that's the next slide where Prabhupada said, whom should we hear from? So you should hear from a bona fide authority. So he's expanding on the whole process. What bhakti is not, what bhakti is, and how do you achieve that bhakti? That's the last one. Approaching spiritual master, we know this famous verse that Vidhi Pranipatim Padprashena Sevya, Dekshantite Jnanam, Jnanina Sattva Darshan. So Prabhupada says, approach a bona fide spiritual master and hear from him. Once you hear from him, all the other 8 activities will follow. Prabhupada also gives this CC Madhya 19:151 Brahmand Brahmite Kaun Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Beach, because by the mercy of Guru we can get the seed of devotion. I'll read this, so it's very nice. One should always act for Krishna. This one Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Krishnartha Akhil Chesta. So Krishna Artha. We all doing Akhil Chesta. Akhil Chesta means Akhil means complete, Chesta means endeavor. So we all doing complete endeavor or a lot of endeavor, sometimes over endeavor. But for Swartha. Swartha means I want to become rich person. I want to become famous person. I want to have this, that. But Rupa Goswami says it should be Krishnartha Akhila Chesta. So all your Chesta should be meant for Krishna instead of yourself. And then the whole thing will be so sweet. In all phases of life, one has to perform devotional activities under the direction of the spiritual master in order to attain perfection in Bhakti Yoga. Now, what happens if you cut this line out? For example, so in all phases of life, one has to perform devotional activities. You can do that, but not under the direction of spiritual master. What will happen then? Anyone? You're performing devotional activity not under the guidance of a spiritual master. Bharat Maharaj was performing bhakti alone in the jungle. He was a great devotee, definitely great devotee. What happened? His bhakti got slackened. There was no one to tell him, Prabhuji, you're not performing your Mangala Arati. Prabhuji, you're not performing your round. Prabhuji, today is Ekadashi. He was alone. He was not following, at that stage at least, any spiritual master, any Sangha. And what happened? His bhakti got slackened, and so much so that eventually he had to take birth as deer. It's nothing to do against Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj is obviously performing a Leela in Krishna's pastime, but it's a lesson for all of us. It's a lesson for all of us. Second thing, this is a neutral lesson, a negative thing, which Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says, Rupa Goswami says there, he says, your bhakti, so-called bhakti, can also become upadrav. The word is used, upadrav. That means it may hurt other devotees. Sometimes we think I'm performing great devotional service, but if it is not pleasing to our seniors, to our acharyas, that can be our upadrav. And you will see many of the neophyte devotees, not that we are not, at least I am, they perform a lot of devotional service. Sometimes it becomes too much. They say, Prabhuji, just hold on. Just hold on. So we have to perform devotional service for the pleasure of Lord and devotees always. And then it becomes pleasing, it becomes transforming. Because if the transformation is not happening, as one Maharaj says, information, information, and information only, and no transformation is waste. So we can have a lot of information in our head, but it has to transform. It has to be able to transform our heart. Then it's successful. Yes, Ujjwala Sahab, Mataji or Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah,
Hare
I wanted
Krishna.
to ask. Bharat Maharaj was, I believe, at the stage of Bhava Bhakti, right?
Yes, that's right.
But he still fell down.
Yes.
So even at that stage, there is always a possibility of falling down.
Not always, practically, yes. Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, if I'm not wrong, it's chapter 16 or 17. He talks about how can you fall on the stages of bhava as well. Only one condition is there. The effect of previous aparadhas are still there. So you're not performing a new aparadh, definitely not. You are in bhava stage, but the effect of previous aparadh, which you have performed, say in this life or in the previous life somewhere, that effect is still there, and that effect can cause your fall down. But in prema, that's not possible, and that's the only difference between bhava and prema. Otherwise, it says bhava is like the fresh sun is rising in the sky. You can see the reddish sky. That's bhava, and when you can see the sun. That's prema. Is that
Thank
okay?
you.
Yeah. Yes, Madhuri Mataji.
Prabhu, in continuation to this one, this is my question. Bharat Maharaj, he has taken birth as a Jed Bharat, and he was acting like a madman
Yes.
and deaf, dumb, and dull, so
Yes.
that he wanted to just get rid of these dualities of life.
Yes.
So at that time, he did not do any bhakti, right? Or
Yes, he was performing bhakti all the time. So during that time when he was behaving like a deaf and dumb man, internally he was completely doing devotion. It says in Bhagavatam, his brothers will put him into the field as a scarecrow. You know, the scarecrow in the khet, they have a human head and something like that. So that when the crows come or the birds come, they get scared. So scarecrow. So he will prefer that activity, not that he demands for it. He prefer the activity. Why? Because when he goes there in the khet, he can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because he's alone. He can perform a lot of devotion there. So obviously he was doing a lot of internal bhajan.
And at the same time, he was
externally he was
suffering.
behaving like he's a completely mad person.
And
so
he was suffering all this externally. It's because of previous karma, bad karma that he has
No, he
done.
wasn't suffering. When Rahugand said, I can beat you, I can become like a Yamraj, and he said, you're going to kill my body, but I'm not the body. So he was not suffering. He was above bodily platform, completely above bodily platform that time.
Prabhu, I'm asking this question because in one of the lectures, I really don't remember, but they say that they are born as mentally retarded or...
Yeah, he was not mentally retarded.
Not about Jed Bharat, but in general.
Yes, yes.
Just to nullify their previous
absolutely.
bad karma, and they don't get any karma in this, and they are actually pure and devotional as well. No.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. So if you are mentally retarded or not mentally retarded, any body part or any brain or whatever is not working as normal, even if you are very intelligent, that's a reaction of your previous pious karma. Some people can remember a lot. If they're not using that capacity for Krishna, that's your pious karma. Sometimes people may look very good. Sometimes people can be very rich. It's all about karma.
Okay.
Unless your question is something else and I'm not getting your question.
Yeah, actually.
But Bharat Maharaj is not suffering due to karma. Yes, one suffering he has got a body. And body is a result of his past karma. Definitely. But in that body, he's not. Yeah.
Okay, if I'm not taking too much time, just a small question,
Okay,
Prabhu.
quick one.
So just to avoid these dualities of this material world, they take birth as a, mentally retarded or not connected to this world.
Yeah.
Just to avoid this duality, and they are maybe devotees internally.
No, you can't say that. They're not even functioning properly as a normal human being. They can't even eat. They can't even lift their hand. They don't know what they are doing. That's just a pure karma. And there's examples for one commander-in-chief who was troubling lot of people in Second World War. He took birth as a mentally retarded person. Amoglila Prabhu tells in his class.
Yeah. Okay.
He was doing lot of atrocities on those people who were imprisoned. He was a doctor. He was very horrible doctor. He will perform operations in live people. He will sew two ladies together with a literally like a needle.
Yes.
He will
Yes.
put them in a hot temperature. He will put them in the cold temperature. He was testing live like animals, worse than animals. Okay, let's move. Manmohan Prabhuji.
Just a question on the same topic.
Yes.
So when Bharat Maharaj came back as Jada Maharaj, so
Yes.
I mean, he was still not in the association of devotees and he did not have a guru.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very good question. In the third birth. So now bhakti is not a matter of externals here. Obviously, for us it is, because we are in a very, very neophyte stage. But for Bharat Maharaj, he has done a lot of devotion in the past. He had a lot of devotee association from birth one I'm talking. And he carried forward that. He carried his strong bhajan internally, so much so that he did not appear to seem have that need in that particular birth. Because like you, Mataji made nice prasad and you eat till your neck full. Huh? Then for next hour or so, you don't need another prasadam. Huh? Because you're so full. So it's like that. You've done so much bhakti there. So externally, but he was like a guru. When Rahugad came, it says Bharat Maharaj made him another Jad Bharat. Rahugad was a king and he became literally externally very like a pauper. So he was such a strong in devotion that time. It's a very nice question. Okay, let's move forward, finish this section off so that we can start our 6 elements. So this is a slide which summarizes the first section. I thought it's very nice. We can just have a quick look at this. So whole purport of Prabhupada, you can divide into 2 pieces. The first one, which we just discussed, is impetus for bhakti. Again, it describes what is not bhakti, what is bhakti, and all that. And the second section is favorable condition, which are the 6 elements. So we just spoke in the first part, so we'll just revise the first part. So whole chart, I'll quickly read. What is not bhakti? So we said there are 2 categories which are not bhakti: sentimental speculation and imaginative ecstasy. What does sentimental speculation mean? Anyone? Quickly. Mohit Prabhu? Okay.
Sorry, Prabhu. Also on it.
No
Can you
problem.
repeat the question, Prabhu? The sentiment in
What is sentimental speculation? What word did we use? Or Prabhupada used, not we used.
Can you
Anyone
give an
else?
example or like
No. Just stay on, Prabhuji, stay on. Madhuri Mataji, you're saying something? What word did we use while describing sentimental speculation?
Like they will say like we got dream of Krishna.
Yes. What word did we use? One category which used. I mean, word means category. Anyone else?
Mayavadis.
Mayavadis. Thank you. So sentimental speculation means Mayavad. It's all about Mayavad. What does imaginative ecstasy mean? Not one who has answered, someone else. Naam Avatar Prabhu.
Sahajias?
Sahajya. Thank you, Shraddha Mata. So imaginary ecstasy means Sahajya. So we should not become either category 1 or category 2. We should just simply follow our acharyas and destinations will be achieved by their mercy. What is bhakti? We took the definition of bhakti Rasamra Sindhu 1.1.11 Anya Bilashta Shunyam. Cultivation is not idle meditation. Bhakti means some service, some activity. Prabhupada's disciple said in the beginning days, I'm just remembering the exact word he said. Yeah, work now, samadhi later. Work now. So Prabhupada disciple used to work so hard. They will not even sit for 1 second. It says in the night time, they'll only get like 2 to 3 hours of sleep. The only other time you could sleep was in the Bhagavatam class. And he says in the Bhagavatam class, everyone was sleeping. And towards the end of the Bhagavatam class, even the speaker was sleeping. So he said, when you will sleep, they will stand up. So one by one, devotee will start getting up in the Bhagavatam class. They'll go towards the wall and sort of lean down. And at the end of the Bhagavatam class, if the speaker is standing and giving the class, this how much hard work devotees were doing that time. And we become fully comfortable nowadays, many times at least. So it's not idle meditation, huh? We have to do a lot of work. Prabhupada said, especially for brahmacharis, not even 1 second he should sit idle, because idle mind is a devil's workshop. And this applies to all of us, because as soon as we sit idle, 100,000 things come in our mind. We should constantly be engaged in Krishna's seva. Attachment to devotional activity is very important. Now, how to perform bhakti? Prahlad Maharaj says, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Navadha Bhakti, and under the guidance of Guru. We discussed 4.34 at least, and Chaitanya Madhya, MU is Mundak Upanishad, 1 to 12. Why perform bhakti? Because bhakti, this is again from NOD, is rare, is blissful, is liberating. The 6 characteristics of bhakti in Nectar of Devotion, we'll read about it. Who can perform bhakti? Prabhupada said, any sincere practitioner. You don't have to have a Brahminical background, taken birth in India, this and that. No, any sincere person can perform bhakti. Where to perform bhakti? ISKCON. Come to 180 Falcon Street and have satsanga with devotees. And Prabhupada also, I think, gave a similar example. If you want to become drunkard, what you should do? Not I'm recommending it in this sangha. If you want to become drunkard or chain smoker, what should you do, Vinay Prabhu? Just asking, not doing
Just
it.
coming to is my where I working in the city, George Street, in the pub. There's lots of people, hundreds
Lots
of
of
people.
people, yeah. So basically the point is, if you want to become drunkard, you hang out with drunkard, isn't it?
Yes.
You want to become chain smoker, you hang out with chain smoker. Even if you have never smoked in your life, you'll feel like, एक cigarette लेने में क्या जाता है? One cigarette only, huh? One drug or whatever, one pack of alcohol or whiskey, whatever. Huh? So if you want to become devotee, what you should do? Mohit Prabhu? Mohit Prabhu is already a very sincere devotee.
Yes, Prabhu.
If you want to become sincere devotee, as per this example, what should you do? If you want to become drunkard, you hang out with drunkard. If you want to become devotee, what should you do?
Just avoid the association.
No, hang out with devotees.
Avoid
Isn't
the
it?
association.
Yeah, definitely. There's a plus and minus. The point is, if you want to become sincere devotee, you hang out with sincere devotees. And then, because they are very contagious, and the desire will come in you as well. Okay, is that clear? This slide is very nice. It's just like a Nichod. Ankit Prabhu the other day sent a nice movie, Nichod, for Ekadashi. He sent a movie. It's in VSS. If you haven't watched it, please watch. This is also a Nichod of first section of Prabhupada's purport. Okay. Now, one more thing. This verse explains ABCD of devotional life, if you can see on the top. Now, what is ABCD? There are different acronyms here. This is A is attitude, B is behavior, C is character, D is direction. So what is attitude? Gets defined by Ussahan Nishayat Dharyat. Our behavior gets defined by Sangatyagat. Character gets defined by Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat. And direction gets defined by Sato Vritte. How well we are following our previous acharyas. Okay, so ABCD is a very nice attitude, behavior, character, and direction. This verse is for ABCD. That's why Prabhupada quotes this verse the most. One of the most quoted verses. Okay, the first one is Utsahat. Prabhupada writes Utsahat definition. Endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness is called Utsaha or enthusiasm. So look at the definition again. Endeavor executed with intelligence. It's not just the endeavor. काम करने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं. No, you're not working for the sake of working. Endeavor with intelligence. How can I do it better? How can I do it better? I'll give you one analogy. I'm looking at Manmohan Prabhu, so we can give some analogies related to his field. If you have some problem and you go to a doctor, and doctor gives you some medication and say, okay, Prabhuji, morning, noon, evening, please take these 2 tablets on a daily basis. So suppose you go to the doctor, but you don't have trust in doctor. Will you take the medication? You don't know whether this is right or wrong. So first thing which you have to have is faith in the doctor. Once you have faith in the doctor, you go to the chemist warehouse or wherever and you buy the medication, right? And then you should have utsaha to take it, isn't it? I have to take my medication. Now, doctor has done his duty. But what patient has to do? Have to have some utsaha. Now, Manmohan Prabhuji said, take this medication, Prabhuji, for 9 days. And after 9 hours, you're calling Manmohan Prabhuji. Manmohan Prabhuji, Stomach pain कभी गया नहीं है. My stomach pain is not gone. When Mohan Prabhuji said, Prabhuji, only taken one tablet. I asked you take it for 9 days. Huh? So with the Utsaha, I took the medication first time, second time, and I called Manohan Prabhuji. Manohan Prabhuji say, now 9 दिन का cycle है. You have to complete the cycle of antibiotics or 5 days, whatever it is. Huh? So with Utsaha, what you have to have? Dhairyat. Without dhairya, will the medication work? ले तो लिया मैंने. I have taken the medication, but hang on, Prabhuji, you only taken one tablet. You have to take complete 10 tablets. Huh? Utsahat, Nishya. So Nishya is there. Nishya is the confidence in the medication. I have to have the confidence. Yes, this is the right amoxicillin, which has been given to me, 500 potency. I need to take it with Nishya. Yes, this will kill my viral fever or whatever it is. Or bacterial fever, Prabhuji, I don't know which one is what. One gets cured automatically, one doesn't. Whatever, right? So, Utsahat Nishya Dhairya. Dhairya means I have to have patience. I have to take complete 10 tablets. Huh? Utsahat Nishya Dhairya. If I follow these 3 completely and avoid verse 2, which is the negative, Mataji gave the example of ice cream. We can take similar examples, and pakoda and blah, 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 then my disease will go, isn't it? So, Utsahat, Nishya, Dhairyat have to be combined together to get rid of the disease. And what is our disease? Anyone knows? Because हमें कोई बीमारी नहीं है. We don't have any disease. Do we have disease? Any disease person here? Is it only me? No one else is. सब लोग हैं. What's the disease?
Material disease.
Material disease. What's the material disease, Prabhuji?
Attachment to material things and
I'm
forms
the
and
enjoyer. I'm the
Desire.
enjoyer. Ishwaro aham bhogi. मैं ईश्वर हूं. I am the controller and I am the bhokta. Everyone and everything is meant for whose enjoyment?
My enjoy.
My enjoyment. This is called material disease. Huh? Ishwaro aham bhogi. And what a devotee's perspective is? No. Krishna, Bhoktaram Iktasam, Sarvalok Maheshwaram, Suhrdam Sarvabhutanam, Gyatva Mam Shanti Mrishi. Krishna is the Bhokta, not I am the Bhokta. And Jiva Sarvabhoy, Krishna Nityananda. So, Utsahat. So, not only the endeavor is talked about, endeavor with intelligence. And we can see this picture of, anyone knows the name of this person? Harinam Ruchi? He's Harinam Ananda. Okay, thank you, Priya Mataji. I thought he was Harinam Ruchi. Anyway, maybe he has.
Melbourne.
Huh?
He was from Melbourne.
Yeah, he's from Melbourne.
Harinam.
Yeah, he's very nice devotee. He's a Harinam Sankirtan devotee. He goes around the world. And he's been doing it for, I don't know, like 10, 15 years, maybe more than that. I don't know. He's my god brother.
Sorry, Prabhu, Harinam Ruchi is the name of the group.
Okay, Harinam Ruchi is the name of the group. Okay, thank you, Mata, for clarifying that. For years and years, I thought his name is Harinam Ruchi. Anyway, Harinam Ruchi or Harinam Ananda, very nice. So he takes pleasure in Harinam. So he's been doing, again, one example. There are so many devotees performing so many nice services. So he's performing this seva with Utsaha. Now, where does this Utsaha come from? Now, we also chant 16 rounds at least every day. Sometimes we feel dull in chanting rounds. Is that right? Except Nam Avatar Prabhu. His name is Nam Avatar. He's very enthusiastic as chanting. Do we feel dull about chanting sometimes? Yes or no? Sometimes we feel our saha is low. Everyone is nodding their head. Thank you. I'm not the only one. So when our saha goes down, what's the reason? Prema Bhakti Mataji. She's very enthusiastic in serving the deities. Our Utsaha goes down. What's the reason? It's exactly like your car is running out of the fuel. Can you run your car, drive your car? Mohit Prabhu just drove to Melbourne. Can you drive to any place from A to B without the fuel? So Utsaha acts as a fuel for our devotional car. So if I have to go from A to B, car has to have fuel. And what is the fuel? Utsaha is the fuel. Now, I can say in words Utsaha is the fuel, but how does it translate? So Utsaha in anything, forget about just spiritual, in anything comes from some sort of taste or pleasure. Some people, for a negative example, they drink alcohol and I don't know how does it feel, but they feel some pleasure in that. Is it right or wrong, right? They smoke. they eat meat and whatever other activities they do, they feel some pleasure. So we also will increase our utsaha if we get more pleasure in devotional activity. And how do a devotee get that pleasure? By serving Krishna. So if you serve Krishna, you'll get the taste of pleasure, and that taste of pleasure will act as your utsaha. So if you are having your utsaha down sometime in devotional service, what you have to do? Root cause of you haven't served Krishna. Go and serve Krishna, serve deities, serve Vaishnavas, your utsaha will go up. Is it right or wrong? When devotees come to our house, we have a program. It may be difficult externally, like you have to do so many things, but isn't it a very utsaha in the heart? Yeah, I'm having this opportunity to serve a Vaishnava or a group of Vaishnavas in our house in whatever simple way we can. It increases our utsaha, yes or no? I feel like it increases our utsaha. So externally, it may look like, oh, 40 people coming to your house, so much work. But actually, devotees feel pleasure out of that activity. When many devotees are sitting and doing so many services for Gopinath for hours and hours, 10, I've seen one devotee washing dishes for 8 hours in a row. In one row, in a festival day, he came from office. I still remember in his office shirt and pant, he was serving practically whole night after office hours, 8 hours in a row. He's saying, I don't want to come out. I'm like, what is your thought pattern? He's having pleasure in standing and washing pots for Krishna. He's having a very well-respected job. Many devotees make garlands, some devotees cook for Krishna. It's very, very hard. But they do this activity with pleasure because that increases their utsaha. So when your utsaha is down, what you should do? Serve Krishna, serve Vaishnava. Your utsaha will come back. In chanting or anything. I'm not feeling like reading. No, read. Read. Now, which activity will give you that sense of pleasure? That you can define. That you can define. Some people may define pleasure from reading Prabhupada books or serving the deities, going for book distribution, going for Harinam. Now we can see Harinam. Ananda Prabhu, he is having his utsaha from Harinam. Like that. So different devotees will vary, and that's fine. But you should remember the example of fuel. Without enthusiasm, one cannot be successful even in the mundane world. All the successful celebrities you see in the mundane world, they have done a lot of hard work. And that's utsaha. They have to have, I have to do it. I think for administrative services in India, ISPCS, people prepare. And someone was saying when I was very young, karo or maro. Karo means do or die. Unless you have that, you can't become ISPCS. And I was thinking later on, I never appeared in the exams. But anyway, later I was thinking on that you should do for Krishna, karo or maro. और यहाँ तो मरने की बात ही नहीं. We're not talking about dying here. Although we sometimes, Radha Govind Maharaj says, we are dying not out of lack of prasadam, we are dying out of overeating of prasadam. Every day there's a festival, so much prasadam, so much nice association. So utsaha is very, very important. Even in the material world, one has to be very enthusiastic in his particular field. A student, businessman, artist, or anyone else who wants success in his line must be very enthusiastic. Similarly, one has to be very enthusiastic in devotional service. So what's the bottom line? Increase your utsaha by service. That you can choose. Yes, Ujjwal Rasa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah. Does Anamaprad and Anartha have any role to play in reduction of the utsaha?
Yes, you're right. It's like a brake. So if you're driving a car, Mataji, you're putting your feet on the accelerator and other feet you're putting on the brake. So utsaha is like accelerator and brake is like aparad. So you're performing, a lot of devotional services, but you may get very angry, for example, on different devotees, right? So one time you're increasing your seva and another time you're displeasing the devotees. So that won't take you very long. That won't take you very long. It says, Radheshyam Prabhu says, when you increase your devotion, your heart should become softer, not harder. Many times, if not all the times, you see devotees are very angry. They're very, dull, and they're in that own world. They can't take them out. And just because they are not serving, they don't have association, they don't have any sweet relationship with other devotees, and they're just in their own world. So our heart should become softer, not harder. And if it's becoming, Harder, it's a result of offending Vaishnavas. That's the answer. Hardness comes from aparadh. Okay, I'll just read 2 lines from the bottom. Very nice. The devotees find the correct means by which everything can be utilized in the service of Lord. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. It's a big discussion here, but we just don't have time. One should accept this opportunity. Yeah, I love this line. I've read it many times. One should accept this opportunity to return home back to Godhead very enthusiastically. Now, we should not say, "Arey, aaj bhi 16 mala karna hai." Today also we have to chant 16 rounds. No, you should accept this opportunity enthusiastically. Wow, I get to do my rounds today again. I have to do, no, not I have to do, I get to do my rounds. I get to go for Mangala Aarti. I get to do for my seva. I get to listen to this class or to this kirtan, or I'm decorating the deities of Radha Gopinath. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Krishna. So if that Utsaha is there, that Utsaha will drag you back to Godhead. Otherwise, devotees will be dragging you with your shikha, which many of us don't have. So Utsaha is very important. I'll give you 2 examples and then we can probably close the class. Who is this? Everyone knows that. Prahlad Maharaj. Now, Prahlad Maharaj's life was not a very simple life. We know all these things which happened to Prahlad Maharaj behind the scenes. Now, nothing like this happens in our life. Still, our utsaha goes down. Imagine if these sort of things started happening to our life. But the point is, even in the worst situation, our utsaha should not go down. One example from Shastra, one contemporary example which we can take, Prabhupada. Now, Prabhupada Utsaha was on the top of the world. Once he was in New York, one bus conductor asked, "So Swamiji," or whatever he said to Prabhupada, whatever way he addressed Prabhupada, he said, "So, do you have any disciples?" So Prabhupada's answer was, "I have thousands of disciples and hundreds of temples. Time is separating us. Time is separating us." Huh? So Prabhupada's vision was so big. Prabhupada said, "Only one problem I have. I cannot think small. I cannot think small." Now, we are not here to, imitate these acharyas. We can never do that and we should never do that. The point here is these acharyas are acharyas because they have so much enthusiasm to serve Krishna. He could have easily sit in Vrindavan and chant Hare Krishna. His Guru Maharaj will still be pleased. He had published books. He tried to go to Japan. Japan was the first country where Prabhupada tried to go to. He sent his essay was selected, but then they said, "Come to Japan." Prabhupada didn't have money to buy the ticket. So Prabhupada could not go, and Krishna had different plans for Prabhupada. And if Prabhupada had heart attack on the ship, anyone could have said to his Guru Maharaj, "Guru Maharaj, I did went to New York, but on the way I got 2 heart attacks. So what could I do? I turned back." Huh? Prabhupada also said sometime, the things were not working for him as well. And he will go to the pier, he will watch the ship going back to India. He said, "I really wanted to buy a ticket and go back to India, but I cannot go to India. I cannot go to India." Sometimes devotees ask, "When are you coming? When are you coming? When are you coming?" The answer is not really. It's not the land which we are after. It's the service attitude which we are after. Service attitude. Prabhupada had that service. I want to die in America. I'll die in New York, no problem. I'll become unsuccessful, no problem. I want to die fighting this battle against Maya. So Krishna eventually helped. Krishna helped all the way through. Krishna said, "You just go." I think Giriraj Maharaj, if I'm not wrong, said this, one of these classes, he said, Prabhupada is a sakha of Krishna. So in the spiritual world, Prabhupada was playing with Krishna in his own Swarupa. And Prabhupada also said, one of his disciples asked, "Prabhupada, what's your Swarupa in his spiritual world?" Prabhupada said, "If I tell you, you will faint." Prabhupada said that, "You will faint." So Prabhupada playing with Krishna, and Krishna tells him, "I need your favor." And Prabhupada said, "Of course, tell me what you want me to do." "Can you go to the material world?" Prabhupada said, "No, not this one. Not this one." Krishna said, "Please, no, 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 no. I cannot go. Not this favor." And then Giriraj Maharaj said, Krishna said, "Please." And Prabhupada said, "Really, you want me to go to the material world?" Krishna said, "Don't worry, I'll make all the arrangements for you. I'll make all the arrangements for you. You just go. You just go." Prabhupada said, "All right." And here we got Prabhupada. Here we got Prabhupada. The Krishna personally said, Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale says, Krishna Prashtaya, one of the meanings is, Krishna personally sent Prabhupada in Bhutala for these jivas like us. So Krishna tested Prabhupada, put in the situations, so much difficult situation, his saha never went down. Okay, I'll stop here. Next topic is Nishchaya, which is a big one as well. We'll do it next time. Any quick questions or comments? Everyone is completely silent as if nothing is gone there, huh? Okay, I'll keep trying with my limited ability to pass the message, and I hope something gets across. Please read
Yep.
Prabhupada purport. I am completely basing my discussions on Prabhupada purport. So it is very, 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 very nice. Read it again and again, you will love it. And if I'm missing something or not presenting correctly, you can please correct me as well. Okay, someone